Hey guys, we just finished our fight with the Wildfire family, and according to you guys, they are the best family in North America. They're definitely better than us. We learned a lot from that fight, but Mr. Wildfire wanted to ask me some questions as a YouTuber and as someone who is friends with some of the devs, what my opinions are on some of the game in Frostborn. Hey Wildfire, you wanted to ask some questions?
Yes. I guess to start with the number one is the Healing Salve. What did they do the thing that they did with the Healing Salve, the preparation?
Yeah. Well, I think what you're saying is right. The Healing Salve was a huge part of the old PvP system. In fact, it was an integral part. You couldn't not have it as one of your quick slots and not have people being like, you're horrible PvP. Like, everyone has to have the salve as one of your quick slots. Otherwise, you don't know what you're doing because it's such a good item. And I think that that's part of I think there was two problems they were trying to fix by taking the Healing Salve out. And that was one of them. They didn't want it to be where there was always one item that everyone always had to use. I think they wanted to create more diversity, to have a hammer cleaver combo, to have a dispel healing combo, to have, these different things. And I think that's what the bandages does, is bandages are as good of an option as some of the other options that you can have in your quick slot. And so, and you have that extra 100 health if you're level 99. So yeah, you're gonna essentially already have a little more than a Healing Salve there. So the idea is, okay, you've got some of that for sustainability. Now you can go in it as this. Now you can go in not worrying about the Healing Salve theoretically. Some will still have bandages, but some people will not have any healing, and you're in it for the end. Now, personally, I like the old PvP system as well as this one, in the sense that I kind of liked it that two protectors couldn't kill each other, and that they were truly tanks, and that they were, there were some fights that I got into in solo where it was like, well, neither of us are going to win this, so I guess I'll run away. And I like that. I think the devs didn't like that because, one, it did, like you said, it made the Protector 3, or really any of the Protectors, too overpowered, because the Healing Salve could heal faster than they could do damage. And so really a good Protector was essentially invincible in solo play, and even in team there was a lot. They're just so powerful. And so there was a problem with having 4 protectors, a 4 protector team composition. So I think what they were doing, the first thing that I already said, they were basically trying to create more diversity in items that we use, but then they were also making it to where the protector can still be overpowered. In fact, it can be even more powerful than it was in combination with a healer, because a healer can do more than a Healing Salve ever could. But without that, pairing together, then you're screwed. You're not going to have you have to work with each other. And I think it's going to make the classes a little bit more dependent on each other, to where, like, y'all just kicked our butt because not only did y'all have good classes, but mostly y'all were just really good at playing. But I think eventually it's going to get to the point where it's like, no, a really good team that really knows more how their classes function, the paperwork, and they're able to pull that off, is just going to be, there's going to be some team compositions that will never work, no matter how talented people are. They're just, like 4 protectors will, I think in this new PvP system, a 4 protector squad will pretty much never work unless the team they're playing against is horrible.
I'm glad that the devs, I guess, did this, making the preparations, but it is also in another way kind of bad. How do I say this? The salves were basically one of the key things to PvP. the bandages were for
Mm-hmm.
PvE, Odin's, tombs, and etc. But to take out the healing salves from PvP just really, it's new. We'll put it like that. It's new, and it's like you have said before, and what I've said is the Protected 3 is sincerely overpowered because of its armor, because of its health, and with the salves, it was a key thing to becoming overpowered.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a shocker when they did that, because I saw how hard it was to PvP. It's basically without the salves, it was when I went to PvP, I had salves on me, and so did other players. And when I went against other players, I saw basically it's just a death match as to who strikes first.
Mm-hmm.
If you strike the other person first, he's instantly dead. He can dispel and run, but I mean, all you got to do is just do more damage, and he can just die slowly and slowly and slowly. With that being said, I'm like I said, I'm really happy with the last update that they did. I was happy because now there's a class that can counter each one.
Yeah.
A firebow, the archer class can counter the warrior class. Have them stay behind, hammer, bola, throw cleavers, whatever.
Totally.
And that tank would just drop like a fly. And with the the mage and the healer working together, and now that the healer is becoming more dependent on, it's good. That's what I like about this update. They're fixing the spells, but it was just really, why the healing salve? Why couldn't they just reduce it to 15 healing and keep that for the PvP? Because basically now they're just switching it around to people are going to depend more on the bandages to PvP, and that's basically just it. And then now, just really, why did they do what they did with the potions? I'll use an armor potion right now, and it's only 60 seconds, and I have to wait 15 to hit the others.
Yeah.
you know
So I agree with you. I think what they're wanting to do with the potions is be a little bit more quick slot oriented. Like you're going to have an armor potion in your quick slot. I don't think that's ever going to happen unless they make it to where an armor potion is only lasts 15 seconds but gives you like 60 armor. I think unless that happens, no one's ever going to keep it in their quick slot. And so I think that if that's their goal, they need to change it even more drastically than they have, because what it is right now, no one's ever going to put an armor potion in their quick slot. It's not going to happen. And same thing with Berserk Potion. I think that's their goal, is to make it, but I think that they need to make them more powerful in a shorter amount of time. Kind of like a hammer is extremely powerful for a short amount of time. If they're going to want a Berserk Potion or an armor potion to compete with a hammer, they're going to have to really up those potions' performance, or they're just never going to be used. And I think that's what they were trying to do. And so I think that right now they're kind of halfway in the middle, and it's the worst of both worlds on the potions, because right now we're not like, well, I'm not going to use... Honestly, I think the speed potion is already there. I actually think that people don't realize, as a warrior, having a speed potion in your quick slot is better than you think it is.
Definitely. Yep.
Especially because PvP is a little bit more like getting your inventory costs more now. And so, I mean, if you're quick, it's fine. But ideally, you wouldn't. I think what they're working towards is that you wouldn't really be getting in your inventory a whole lot. And so having a speed potion in a quick slot, definitely something the Berserk should probably do, especially in solo play, because you need to just cling to that ranged unit. You might throw that hammer, you want to do that crazy damage at first, and then they're going to try to run away, and you need that speed potion to stick to their butt until they're dead. But other than that, I would say that the armor potion has no purpose right now. The Berserk Potion, or not no purpose, sorry. The armor potion and Berserk Potion is still something we're going to keep in our inventory unless they make it stronger. I would disagree with you on the bandages. I think that, well, here's what I'm going to say. I don't know if I disagree with you because you know PvP better than me, but I'm going to say that if the bandages is what everyone's going to rely on, then they'll nerf it even more. or they'll buff the other items. I think that their goal is to make it to where bandages is an option, just like a hammer is an option, or like they're all like more equally. Now, I don't like that they made the cleaver and hammer connected. That seems dumb to me.
Look at this.
Yeah.
I have to wait like a few seconds just for it to come back.
Exactly. And before you can switch over to a different gadget. That doesn't make sense to me. I think that they don't seem, to me, they're not the same thing. Actually, this is what I think they're doing. I think they're trying to make potions one of the slots and the cleaver and the items, the gadgets, the other slot. Honestly, I just think the hammer's too powerful. Everyone's going to do the hammer, especially with the cleaver getting nerfed. People are just going to use the hammer. And so I personally, I know people will hate me that I say this, but I personally have been saying for a long time that I think the hammer needs to reduce, like not do the 20 damage. It's just too powerful. It's stronger than a purple. So either make it a purple, and still you might want to nerf it, but definitely if it's going to stay a blue, it has to be nerfed because.
And I do agree with you. I would honestly, in my perspective, I would like for it to be a purple item. I think it should be for what it does and what it can do.
Yeah.
It just frustrated me that they nerfed the cleaver because really cleavers are rare as it is.
Yeah.
And
it's
for them to.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say, I wonder, I have all kinds of theories, what's going on behind the scenes, right? I would say that the cleaver probably got nerfed because because it was so powerful with the assassin combination and maybe a few other things. But then they changed the healing system, and honestly, I don't find the cleaver as powerful in this new update. Everyone has twice the health, that it's kind of like, well, 80 actually isn't that crazy much anymore. I mean, I don't. I just wonder if they nerfed it and then they're like, actually, we're going to change the healing system, but then they never unnerfed it.
It just kind of confused me, and it really got me frustrated when I started experiencing for myself what the update was all about. The one that I really didn't like was the Healing Salve, in which I still wished for them to bring it back and at least nerf it down to 15 health. That way, if that doesn't work out, then switch to bandages and use that. And then with the potions, it was like I said, the reason why I want them to bring them back is because back then, in the last update, it was whoever was to use their potions faster.
Yeah.
So whoever used their dispel was immediately dead. If they used their dispel first and the other team was well coordinated and waited for them to come to them, then immediately the other team would die. And for them just to take out the potions, well, not take them out, but to add a cooldown for each one, it really just breaks PvP, and it's just confusing.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, so what do I use? I can't just use a speed potion, and I can't just use an armor potion.
Yeah.
If I use the armor potion, then I can't use a speed potion for 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And in which the other player, all he has to do is just throw a hammer at me, and I can't even use my dispel.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying is I would like for them to,
Yeah.
It's fine if they keep the salves. Just give us back the potions.
Yeah.
Just give us back what that is all about. At least give us back the cleaver, please.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with so I think they could go either way. I think they're in the middle right now with the potions, and it's not good. They need to either really commit to this new strategy and make the armor potion much more powerful. They need to make and a shorter amount of time. Make it last 15 seconds, but give us 60 armor. Make it make a difference. And then same thing with Berserk. Didn't they nerf the Berserk potion?
I have one right here.
Yeah, what is it?
It just does plus 20 damage.
Okay.
And it lasts for 60 seconds.
Yeah, so they nerfed it by 5%. So I would say make the Berserk potion 20 is a lot. So maybe make it 20, but don't reduce the armor, or make it 30 and don't, and keep the reduce the armor, but then make it a 15-minute buff, a 15-second buff. And basically, if they don't want us to use these potions for like we use mushrooms or primrose, which is how we were using them, then they need to like commit, because right now the armor potion sucks. And so
Yeah.
if that's what they want to do with potions, then they just need to commit to this idea and make it make a difference. Because right now the balance is, you can't look at an armor potion and say it's the same thing as a dispel potion or even a speed potion. A speed potion makes a huge difference.
Oh yeah, especially with a cleaver and for as a tank, because I remember when we were raiding, the other team, when we finally killed them the first time, they just immediately had 2 berserks, 1 tank, and 1 firebow. And when they were chasing us, they all, of course, had all their potions hit. And me, since I didn't use my speed potion, immediately 3 swipes and I was dead. And that's what I'm saying. Speed is definitely going to work well with the warrior class.
Yeah, I like the speed potion. I can see what they're doing with it, and honestly, I think they will. I think they're going to commit to one or the other. Like, we think of Kefir as like this, they're so super unified. They know exactly what they're doing. But, just like any organization, they probably have different devs that think one thing and the other devs think the other thing, and they're, arguing about what should actually be in the game, and they imagine we get frustrated at changes. Imagine them, like they're in there developing this game. They're pouring their heart into it. They're putting 40 hours a week into making this game, and then their coworker makes a change they don't like. Oh, that's got to be so hard. And so I bet you that what's happening is there's some compromises happening, which is creating these weird inconsistencies. For example, why the armor potion is grouped in, because the original intent of the armor potion was clearly, with it lasting 3 minutes long, it was clearly meant to just use it and then not worry about it for 3 minutes. And that's not what they're doing now, but it has no purpose. Like, you're not gonna. So I would say that right now they're probably in the middle of 2 ideas, and especially with the armor potion, it's just the worst of both worlds. And I bet you that they'll eventually change it to where, if they stick with this idea that you can't spam every potion, which part of me likes that, because then you have to choose. You don't bring all your potions to the battle. You are like, okay, what are we going to bring? What are you going to bring? So for example, as a fire mage, if they made the berserk potion a little more powerful, it might be in my quick slot, because I'm all about doing that crazy damage. And so if they could, and the extra, basically, I mean, they nerfed all damage because they had to. Like the fire, they can't make the fire mage do plus 115% damage, otherwise he'd be too OP. But now he still does quite a bit of damage. Getting that berserk potion would just maximize that even more. And so I can see that being a viable option. They would need to make the berserk potion a little bit more powerful before I stuck it in my quick slot. But it also lasts a minute, so there's no reason for me to put it in my quick slot. I can go and do it right before battle. So they'd really need to commit to that idea. But I do like the diversity. I think they should nerf the hammer. Basically, I think they should just make all of the items a little bit more viable. At least all the blues and purples. All a little bit more viable, to where it's like, oh no, with this class, in this instance, I'm going to always choose the armor potion. For example, if the armor potion was 60 armor for 15 seconds, then every protector is going to, every tank, everyone that's on the front line is going to be like, oh yeah, I want that 60 armor right when I'm getting targeted. And that would be awesome. Then we'd be like, oh yeah, there's a purpose for the armor potion, and that would be worth it even more than a hammer for that instance. But that's not how it is right now. Right now it's very, very hammer heavy, very just, there's some items that literally have no use. The weakening dart, I think, needs to have a faster throw. The weakening dart's awesome. It's got a great effect, but it's
Yeah,
also
it does. I think it even buffs the fire damage, right, for a firebow.
oh yeah, it buffs everything. One thing I love about the Pathfinder's mark is that it tells the team, hey, if you attack this guy, you're going to do more damage. Whereas the weakening dart doesn't. And so no one can coordinate well with that. And so for it to take, what feels like in PvP 5 years for you to throw that dart, it just feels like, and then that guy might just run away or might dispel or whatever. Like you may not even see, it's just not, it's hard to use it in a PvP context. We were hoping to use it to where like Royal would mark someone and then throw a weakening dart, and that way it was because they do stack. But again, we couldn't even pull off a mark, much less something more complicated. So Royal over there, he ran.
I know, like he stayed alive.
Yeah.
As long as he stayed alive. Hey.
So
it worked.
So yeah, I think they just need to tweak things to where so personally, I think I can see what they're going for, and I can get on board with it, because also it's going to make PvP a little bit less expensive if we're not bringing, 20 potions to every fight. And you just really have your, oh yeah, this is my potion. Oh yeah, you got armor potions here. Give that over to our tank. Give that over to the person who's about to, whatever the situation is. Yeah, and hey, you give me your speed potions, or you give me your berserk potions. And kind of like we do with weapons now. It's like, it used to be like, oh no, this is my weapon. But now it's like, oh no, you're the mage. Here, I'll give you my wrath staff. And people are being so generous because it's like, oh yeah, like it fits with your class. Like I like that. And I love the fact that they're doing that. And so I think they want to do that with items as well, but they're not there yet. It still just has a lot of, it doesn't make sense yet.
With you saying that just gave me a good idea. I like that. What I would like for them to do is at least have 2 potions that don't have a cooldown.
Yeah.
Well, of course you have a cooldown when you use them.
Yeah.
So say speed and armor.
Yeah.
Or speed and berserk.
Yeah.
Speed should not have a cooldown.
Yeah.
With the others. What I would think they should do is have, speed and armor, because that's what you need to get away or stay alive, sort of. And for the berserk, that's good. One of those two, the armor or the berserk, they should choose to not have a cooldown. But if you use an armor, it cools down something else.
Yeah.
But what I was also thinking is for the rarity of the dispel, is what if they had, since everybody can't run, 1 potion at a time, what if the healer has a dispel that can dispel everybody else? They have to be smart.
Oh my gosh. So what about this idea? What about if you place, they don't have a cooldown on any potions or items if they're in your quick slot. But if you go into your inventory and you use a potion, items don't really use it, but let's say you use anything in your inventory and it cools down all of that items. But if you use it in your quick slot, there's no cooldown. Would that fix, that way, if you wanted to go 2 potions or 2 gadgets, you could put them, as long as you put them in your quick slot, you could use them both. But as soon as you go into your, if that's what they're trying to fix, if they're trying to fix us having tons of stuff in our inventory, then wouldn't that fix the problem that they're trying to fix and still allow us to do a hammer cleaver combo?
If they added another quick slot, what do you think if they added another, what would you think if they added how would you feel if they added another quick slot to your
So personally, I love that. So I could see them basically making it to where you can't use anything in your inventory, and then adding one more spell quick slot, adding a new spell for every single class, and adding one more gadget quick slot. Then we got 6 slots. And the gadget, let's say it unlocks when you're 50 or something like that, when you're level 50. And then that extra spell unlocks, I don't know, maybe when you hit a level 2 class, and then you keep it. Then at that point, we're going to stop going into our inventory, which I think they're wanting, because even though we're like, you might be like, well, I'm really good at it. I want it. But they might be thinking, well, we want this to be a little more attainable to anyone. So they make it to where you can't use any items, any potions, anything in your inventory, but except maybe primrose and mushroom soup. And then everything else is like, no, it has to be in the quick slot, but you have 3 quick slots. And yeah, I personally, I like that because it still has the complexity that I like of having 6, which I think 4 is just a little, I don't know, maybe it's fine, but
yeah,
I would
it was just, I just thought about that. I was like, well, what if they added another quick slot? That way you have your heals, you have your armor, and what do you call it? And your speed. You know, for that class, you have your warrior class. Okay, so I'm gonna run speed and berserk, and I'll use my taunt or my berserk and send it.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
For the healer, you know, if they are trying to do that, what if we have the healer, you know, he has a dispel and they have to be in range, and if he uses that dispel, then everybody gets dispelled. And if one just dispels because one got stunned, well then the other 2 they don't have any defense against the hammers or anything else.
So personally, I think the sorcerer desperately needs a buff, and I think that a team dispel would be an awesome thing for him instead of the extra damage little circle that's crap anyways because it has to be around him. And so I think that would make the sorcerer actually, you know, a legitimate. I think if you made an item that dispelled your whole team, it would be so OP. But if you had a sorcerer who's so undervalued, so crap, honestly, I just think the sorcerer in PvP is crap. If you could make it to where he can do a team dispel, then that would be epic. And what Hurricanum just said, I think, man, there are 2 things I would love to see added to Frostborn that I see in other games. One is being able to tweak our button layout, being able to move things around how we want it. And then the second thing is an in-game voice chat, like you see it like PUBG or any of those type of games.
That would be cool, yeah. I would like that.
I mean, because a lot of people, people are getting used to Discord, but a lot of people don't even have Discord. And to be able to just, you meet someone random and you're like, hey, let's party together, kind of like you do. Like when you play solo, it's a very different world because you go in there and you have this like bonding experience with someone who y'all both chose not to kill each other. And so you kill the boss at the end and you're like, hey, do you want to be part of my family? And obviously I'm being solo on purpose, so I have to say no. But I always want to be like, yeah, I have this experience with you. And so to be able to join them in that family and then automatically have the ability to do voice chat if you want to, like you do in PUBG or something like that, would just be, I think it would make the game grow a lot faster because from a player perspective, the buy-in would be a lot less. You don't have to go and join a Discord server or like learn the news about a game or any of those things. Like you're able to like truly just jump in and immediately have that. But I don't know if that would create more lag. I know sometimes voice chat can suck a lot of bandwidth, and so they're already having some lag problems with all the complexity that they're trying to do. So maybe that's why they don't do that.
Like they should change the layout of the buttons, because I always click on the typing thing when I'm PvPing and it just like stops your character completely.
Yeah, if they had a button layout customization, that would be epic. Yeah, it would just, I think everyone would just love that. And people would come up with the craziest combos, like they'd put their health bar in the map different places, and it would be cool. But I can also see, or even just transparency, to be able to take some of the buttons and be like, yeah, I'm gonna make this mostly transparent so I can still increase my vision. That also would be pretty cool.
And with Hurricane, I'm saying, and the problems with toxic players using voice chat, not just a lag. The voice chat in general, I like that idea. And to me, if you just run into another toxic player, well then, you know, toxicity, it is bad, but it's not really, how do I say this, a big deal. You know, they're toxic. To me, I personally love toxic players. I just love them talking their smack and me just destroying them in mere seconds. You know, and with this new voice chat, I would love to hear that. You know, I would love for them to get mad when I kill them, or when they talk smack and I kill them.
So y'all are talking about proximity voice chat, which I think would be even cooler. But I was actually just talking about your team. Like if you ended up creating basically like squad chat. Now I know that they have proximity chat in like PUBG. That would be even cooler to be like, yeah, like you meet someone, but
Like all voice chat. You know, when you click on it and it says team or all.
yeah,
That one.
yeah, that would be cool. I just think, yeah, you would have to deal with toxicity, but honestly, you can just mute it. I mean, yeah, you'd have to mute it. You'd have to add reporting players, and that is a little more complicated than I was talking about. I was just talking about, which would be awesome, and I would love that, but I can see why that would be a lot more work. I was just talking about team chat. Like if your family has a built-in chat, you get on the game, they're on the game, you're just automatically able to start talking to them. You don't have to like hook up to Discord or anything like that.
Most people don't have Discord anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Totally.
would honestly, I would like that in the game too. I would really like that. And I think this interview would be good, is because I've been seeing so many top players in PvP just get so mad about this update.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started, you know, experiencing it for myself. And that's when it got to the point like, yeah, we definitely need a change in this new system. And also another thing I want to talk about is the energy system.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like how it's funny how they update it and they just don't talk about the energy system, you know. I would like for them at least I know many other players would like this, is for them to reduce the timer to at least 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, right there would be perfect.
5
Yeah.
minutes is too long.
Yeah,
I mean-
5 minutes is just way too long.
I think 5 minutes is too long. They're sticking now, moving down from 200 to 100. You know, they said they were going to do that. So for me, I'm like, well, they're just doing what they said they were going to do, and so I'm fine with that, and I appreciate that they moved the red zone for Maple so much closer. So obviously, my thoughts on this, and I've already given my thoughts in a video on my main channel. I just think that Frostborn would be an incredible zero pay-to-win game, and they would fix all of the problems of complaints, because they would just be able to focus on what is actually a good game, and then the excitement around the game would produce the money for itself in skins. The devs did consider doing that, and I felt honored that they considered it. And obviously they didn't go with it. I'm assuming that's because they're nervous about it. I mean, obviously they've probably spent, I can't even fathom how much money they've spent to create this game. It is so
This
much.
game's one of the best games out there.
Yeah.
Honestly, this game, I loved it. It was like Hercules used to tell me, when World of Warcraft was like the biggest game out there. You play it literally for 5 minutes and you're immediately hooked.
Totally.
That's what I like about this game.
Yeah.
And that was when I just found out this game was literally because of you. I was over there playing Last Day on Earth,
Yeah.
and I saw this, and I thought it was Grim Souls, because I'm retarded that way.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that, actually. A lot of people thought I was just promoting more Grimsoul. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that this game is incredible, and I wish the devs, you know, but again, when you make something and you're spending the money that they have to be spending, they're probably a little nervous. Like, they're probably thinking,
Yeah.
we need to make sure we make the money that we're spending to create this thing. Because obviously this is so much more complex, so much more. I mean, this compared to Last Day on Earth, Last Day on Earth doesn't even hold a candle on this game. And so they have to spend so much money. And the fact that they're able to develop so much so quickly. So my theory, and I'm an optimist, so maybe I'm just maybe I'm just assuming better than I should. But my theory is that Kafir is making all of the changes, all the negative changes before it goes global. All the changes that they're like, hey, people are not going to necessarily like this, but if we change it after global, then we're going to lose a lot of our momentum. So,
Yeah.
you know, this PvP system, people are not going to like it. I think they've been playing it so secretly, or not secretly. I think that they have been secretly wanting to change the repair table since like a long time ago. And they've just been waiting till right before the update because they were like, I don't know, let's not do it.
The players get.
But they're thinking, we can't do this once global hits. And so I think they're making a lot of the changes that they've been needing to make, including some other changes that maybe I don't know. I think that the new PvP system does fix a lot of the problems that they were having with the new class system. But the energy, all of those negative things, they're like, you know, I've been trying to get them to change the requirements for classes because they're so grindy. And, you know, they're not doing it. And I just, again, I think it boils down to they are wanting to start out intense and then they can get better with each update. So it's just going to create more momentum. Once global hits and they start getting a following, then if they're smart, they're going to make every update after global, hey, some good news. Hey, here's some better news for you. Hey, we're going to make this even better. And so I think they're making a lot of the bad changes right before global because that way it can only get better. Because they really want that momentum. And they know that with Last Day on Earth, the reason it grew so much is not only did it feel like a free-to-play game, but every update made the game better for the first 5 months. It wasn't until November of 2017 that things started to be like, something's... Well, actually, that's when we first started noticing they're not developing it the way they were developing it. Something's different. And then it was like it just kept getting worse and slower and worse. And then for me, as soon as I found out that the technology that they used to make that game wasn't allowing them to do what they did with Frostborn, I thought, that's probably it. They realized it was a dead-end game. They can't tell people that. Otherwise, everyone will leave. That's my opinion. This is not something the devs told me. This is just my opinion. I think that they were just realized this isn't going to be able to do. We're not going to be able to do Frostborn with Last Day on Earth. And so they were kind of like, okay, let's just do seasons to kind of make our Last Day on Earth following continue to grow, to make Google's promoting them like crazy. Let's just keep that going. Which honestly, that's kind of how I am with my tutorial channel. I just realized tutorials are never going to succeed like gameplay. YouTube will not promote them. And so for a while there, I was just kind of posting, they weren't bad videos, but they weren't what I used to produce once a week just to kind of survive. And I'm like, and for a while I was like, do I quit YouTube? Like, what do? I feel like I failed.
No.
And then they announced that Frostborn was going to go global, and I realized, okay, finally a game worth covering that I can hit hard. And then with the gameplay channel having so much success, I'm like, great, we'll do with the amazing team that has been helping with the gameplay channel. We're gonna hit it hard from both sides. We'll do tutorials for Frostborn, which is what I love. It's still what I love to do. But in order to make my tutorials worth it, I need to get like at least 50,000 views per video. And I think Frostborn can deliver that. And so I'm really excited about, I'm still excited about the tutorial channel, but the gameplay, it's just, YouTube loves gameplay. And so it's doing great. And if both of them do great and they cross promote, I think that I'm like, okay, finally I can do well, and I can pay all of the people helping me, which would feel really good.
Like I said, if you were to quit YouTube, it would be a downfall. Literally, I only started this YouTube channel because of you and other players that have been asking me to start my YouTube channel because of my PvP style, in other words.
Yeah.
When King of Trying It stopped playing Frostborn, it was kind of a downer because literally it was mostly I was either watching you or King of China play the game, and it was like, what was his family's name? Eclipse, solo Eclipse final battle or something like that, and it was just an amazing thing to watch, and just to watch the old OG YouTubers from back in the day just stop playing this game. It was kind of a downer.
Yeah.
It really hit me when King stopped playing, and to me I see where he's coming from, with all the stream snipers, but that's the problem with being a streamer,
No,
If
that's
you're
not
out
why he
to-
quit. That's not why he quit. I mean, I don't know, but I am 90% sure no YouTuber quit Frostborn because they were like, oh, I mean, well, here's why I think they quit. One, we didn't know if it was going anywhere. Like it wasn't like, oh, updates each, every couple weeks. It's not like it was now where it's like, oh yeah, there's some big changes are happening. Like they're making a lot of progress. And so and YouTubers, especially ones that are monetized, we're kind of slaves to views a little bit. Gameplay, not as much because you got your following and they're going to watch you. At least a lot of them are going to watch you because they're there for you. But especially for tutorials, it's like I post on a game that no one wants to hear about, and it's like crap views. And then YouTube says, oh, well, people aren't that interested in your channel anymore. And they just immediately start slashing. And so it's just, but either way, they're a little bit a slave to it. And so Frostborn only being available to 3% of the world, 6% of the population for only Android is 3% of the world. That's really bad for YouTube. Like no one can play the game you're telling them about, or most people, 97% of people can't. And so they move on. And I've always known Frostborn's where it's at, but I just didn't know how many years it would take before it got there.
Yeah.
And so that's why it was a big deal when they said, okay, global's coming. I was like, okay, great. The time has come.
When they said that, I was like, the time has come.
I know.
I felt like that, what was it on Kung Fu Panda, that turtle? And he goes, my time has come. I was like, that's Frostborn right there.
Yeah.
Frostborn is going to get so much bigger when Global comes out. And I hope that with this update, the developers are, just testing out the negative effects and all that. I would definitely, if they're trying to make more money off of this game, when they did the 200 energy, I was literally buying coins like crazy because that was amazing. 200 energy? Like, are you kidding me? I would spend so much money for that energy just so I can do what I can do.
Oh,
or
yeah.
what I have to do.
Got it. So you would enjoy spending 25 coins to get 200 energy instead of just 100.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, that makes
and
sense.
With the season this book right here, the season thing, it gives you 25 coins or I think it gives you 50 coins if you buy the whole thing. That's a big change, You have to be smart with your coins. You got to be smart with your energy, because you could do a lot with 200 energy. And what else? Just with that happening, that was a good thing that they did when they added that 200 energy. I would pay coins for that because it's a responsibility, and also as well, you can't just because you think you have 200 energy, you can't just spend it all in one place. If your members are in trouble and you're like, oh well, I had 200 energy and I'm back, and you only have like 12 energy, no, you just can't do that. You got to be smart with that energy. With great things comes with great responsibility. And with the repair bench, I was a little bit upset when they moved the repair bench. If they were trying to make money off of that as well, that's just a big downer. I think if they were trying to, how did I say it that time? If they were trying to
prevent alt accounts from getting lots of them.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think that there might have been both, but honestly, that is the biggest thing I'm bothered by. I did not like, so if they were to add it into the shop, then, but they didn't make it personal, personal item, then I would be more okay with it, because I would say, you know what, free-to-play players, this is a real big blow because Frostborn's pretty free to play. This is obviously a huge blow to that, but we can farm enough resources to trade it with the people that will buy us one, and then we can trade here. I farmed a butt ton of iron. I mean, I don't know. You name your price. Okay, I've farmed 1,000 iron for you. Give me my repair table. At least there would be a way. But by making it a personal item, free-to-play players literally have no access to it. And we have given them suggestions on how to fix the alt account things. We're like, look, make it in the recipe for 99. You have to get level 99 to even craft it. Make it one of those recipes that is like the stable, where like you place it and then you have to fill all that, and it's like crazy amounts of resources. But just make it to. But obviously the stable you can't craft, but this one you could. If I have to get 10 steel bars and 50 maple, that sucks, but at least there's a way for a free-to-play player to get it. And then that fixes the alt account thing, because people aren't going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to get an alt account and farm it up to 99 just so I can have. I mean, some people might be crazy enough to do that, but great. They're going to be playing the game constantly, which is going to be great for Frostborn because they're going to be, really Frostborn, or Google's going to be like, wow, that the average time spent on this game is so ridiculous. Let's, keep promoting this game. So honestly, now my hope is that they took that advice and they said, okay, we're going to do that, but we're not able to do it quickly, because that would take time for them to create some kind of, new system for the repair table. And so if they might have said, okay, we're going to do that, but we can't do that yet. And so that might be coming in a future update. That's my optimism. I'm hoping that that's what's going to happen. They're going to be like, okay, we're gonna make a free to play way that's going to be really hard, so the alt accounts can't do it, but there will be a way. And if they do that, I'll be singing their praises.
Right. It was like I said, I'm glad that I'm doing this, because I'm answering, we're answering all the other players, why did they take out the repair table, in which I understand that they put in the shop because of the alt accounts. Because to me it seems unfair, you can't just have 4 other alt accounts repairing your stuff almost every day.
Totally.
If you have eight repair benches and you want to repair your 2 sets of armor, that's the way to go. You can't just do that, because then you're getting an advantage over the other players. And I'm kind of glad, but I wish instead of putting into the shop, keep it as a personal item if they want, but raise the price, not in the shop, but raise the resource price for it. 20 steel ingots and who knows, 40 maple or 20 maple, something like that. That way they won't just switch to their alt account and go farm all of those resources. It would just, it would work for the both,
Yeah.
For the both of us.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I got to go take care of my kids because my wife's gone for the weekend, so I'm single dad this weekend. But this was great to talk to you and talk about basically what the players are, wrestling through, and hopefully I'm right in my optimism, and that the devs are just planning the better updates for after global is happening to keep that momentum going, because once global hits, that's the time to keep building that momentum. So hopefully that's what they'll do.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking with me, JCF. I'm glad that we were able to make this video for the other players, and it was a good battle. I'm not even gonna lie, it was a good battle.
It was good. Yeah, I'm gonna do this video before that other video so that it keeps them in suspense. It's gonna be great.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm gonna go eat now.
Sweet. All right, guys. See you next time.